Right now, we're waiting on the identification of a man shot and killed after police say he tried to carjack undercover officers in the Portland neighborhood. Right now, Kentucky State Police are trying to piece together exactly what happened. The shooting happened around 1:30 Monday afternoon near 22nd Street and Griffiths Avenue. A witness recorded this video before police arrived. Take a close look here. She says that the white car you see is an undercover cop. According to police, LMPD detectives were watching a house for a separate investigation. Then someone approached that car, tried to steal the car from officers. Interim Chief Jacqueline Gwynn Villarreal said one of the detectives shot their gun in an attempt to stop the armed suspect. That man was taken to the hospital where he died.
Police in Jeffersonville are still searching for a woman who's suspected in a deadly hit and run involving her own granddaughter. Take a look at this photo of Lisa Tesh still on the run. Police say surveillance video shows her running over the toddler at the Motel 6 Friday night, just off Eastern Boulevard and I-65 in Clarksville. And this is the car that they believe Tesh is driving. It's a white Chevy Trailblazer with Kentucky plates. The plate number on it is A9Z280. Tesh is considered to be armed and dangerous, so if you see her, call 911 immediately.
A local business owner's dead after some kind of boating accident on the Ohio River over the weekend. Now his family members are talking about the loss. Witnesses told officers nearby boaters helped the man get to shore near the Louisville Water Tower. That's right off of River Road and Zorn Avenue. It happened at 12:30 in the morning on Saturday. Metro Police say he received some type of injuries while he was on board his boat. We have since learned from family members that the victim in this case is Orlando Gay, the owner of local sports bar and grill, Double Deuce. It has been a staple in the Russell neighborhood, along with the owner, who people called Baby Ray. His brother William says that news of his passing is still fresh, and the thought of him not being around is painful for everyone.
They called him Uncle Ray. They'd come by and ask him, "You got any work for us, Uncle Ray? Is there anything we can do for you?" So he would invite him in and let him take out the garbage, stuff like that.
William says the doors of Double Deuce will remain open. And as we wait for the official cause of death from the coroner, family is now organizing a balloon release in Ray's honor. That is expected this Thursday at 6 o'clock. You can join them at his business, the Double Deuce at 26 and Broadway. More news right here at 5 o'clock. A Bullitt County paramedic remains in the ICU with critical injuries after a semi crashed into an ambulance in downtown Louisville on Monday. We're also learning about the patient being transported at the time of the crash. On Monday morning, Kentucky State Police said 3 teenagers led Bullitt County officers on a chase in a stolen car, which ended in a fiery crash. One of those teens was being rushed to the Louisville Hospital in the back of the ambulance. Well, on the way to the hospital, the ambulance was hit on East Chestnut Street, right in downtown Louisville, by a semi coming off of the Brook Street exit off I-65. The impact caused a 60-year-old paramedic to be thrown out of the ambulance. The ambulance driver, a 32-year-old EMT, was also treated for minor injuries and was released from the hospital last night.
Bardstown and Nelson County fire crews have yet to determine what caused a horse trailer to catch fire on the Bluegrass Parkway yesterday. Employees for the hauling company told investigators that they can only get 4 of the 8 horses off the trailer in time. Those that died had an estimated value of $750,000.
And the police memorial will stay in downtown Louisville, at least for now. After multiple incidents of vandalism at the memorial, which honors police heroes who died in the line of duty, there were calls for it to be moved from Jefferson Square Park. The 8 FOP lodges in Jefferson County own the memorial, and lodge presidents met on Monday to discuss its future. The FOP President's Council decided to leave the memorial in its current location until they talk to the families of the officers listed on the memorial. They say they're also considering creating a trust for preservation and upkeep.
Kentucky's juvenile justice system is once again under the microscope in Frankfort. Today, Kentucky youth advocates talked about disparities in the system and in diversion programs. WHAS 11's Grace McKenna covered it all today. And Grace, what was the goal of today's meeting?
Doug Shea, Kentucky youth advocates were there to talk about a data set which revealed some inequities, some broad differences in the rate at which Black and multiracial youth are involved with the justice system. Chief Equity Officer Courtney Downs said Black youth are detained at 3 times their rate of representation in the population. Kentucky youth advocates also showed data indicating Black youth are referred to the adult court system at significantly higher rates than white youth. They say disparities are the result of biases and policies that push inequitable access. However, advocates also noted the state's diversion programs have had good results.
The outcomes essentially are clear for the kids who do have to go to court. They are more likely to be rearrested. They're more likely to be subsequently incarcerated. They're more likely to engage in violence in their communities and also to be associated with more delinquent peers.
Comes after a legislative session with juvenile justice at the forefront. The General Assembly passed two major bills, one to reopen the Jefferson County Youth Detention Center downtown, and another to fund pay raises and security upgrades at the Department of Juvenile Justice. Downs advocated for a further commitment to diversion programs, noting primary prevention, keeping youth crime from happening in the first place, should also be a focus. In the studio, Grace McKenna, WHAS 11 on your side.
All right, Grace, thank you. Two Louisville nursing homes are shutting down and paying more than $1 million in penalties. It comes after state surveys found them failing to meet quality care for their residents. The nursing homes in question are Hill Creek Rehab and Care and St. Matthew's Care and Rehab Center. Both facilities are owned and operated by medical rehabilitation centers. The surveys were conducted over the last year. They found multiple instances of patients left in soiled clothes, rats and rodents roaming around the complex, improperly stored medication, and even cases of elder abuse. Both facilities now have to pay a penalty and close within 30 days. The Jefferson County Public School District is considering to raise property taxes. The potential move is the subject of a public hearing happening tonight. The district sent a notice about the special meeting on Friday. In that notice, Superintendent Dr. Marty Pollio recommended the approval of a new rate of at most 80 cents on real property and personal property for next year. That's about a 4.8 increase. Right now, the rate sits at 76.3 cents and 76.8 cents. Tonight's public hearings at 5:30 at the Van Hoos Education Center. You can also see it on the district's YouTube page. The board is expected to vote on the change following that hearing.
A major development in the long-running Justice Department investigation into Hunter Biden, the president's son. ABC News has learned that the younger Biden has reached a tentative deal with federal prosecutors to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax offenses and enter a diversion program in relation to a felony weapons charge. Today, we talked to Kentucky Senator Rand Paul about the developments.
I think people are concerned that there's two sets of justice in our country, that, you know, when you had an advisor to President Trump, Manafort, commit some tax infractions, not have the right paperwork for being a foreign agent, he got 20 years in prison. And it looks like the president's son, after years and years of not being charged at all, gets charges that are going to be dismissed without any kind of jail time. I think people think we should have the same set of justice whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. And I think people see it as two sets of standards here, that if you're President Biden's son, you're going to really not get any punishment.
Well, a lawyer for Hunter Biden says Biden believes it's important to take responsibility for his mistakes and that he looks forward to continuing his recovery from drug addiction and moving forward. Here's ABC's Justin Finch with more from Washington.
After a years-long investigation, Hunter Biden, President Joe Biden's sole surviving son, has reached a tentative agreement with the Justice Department. The deal calls for the younger Biden to plead guilty to misdemeanor tax offenses, and he's expected to reach an agreement with federal prosecutors on the felony charge of possessing a firearm as a drug user.
Sources close to Hunter Biden believe that this will end the more than 5-year investigation that has dogged Hunter and his father.
Investigators have been probing whether Hunter Biden paid adequate taxes on millions of dollars in income, including money he earned from overseas business dealings with China and Ukraine. In Ukraine, Hunter Biden served on the board of a natural gas firm from 2014 to 2019. While serving as vice president, Joe Biden was tasked by President Obama to oversee U.S. foreign policy in Ukraine. President Biden has said he's never spoken to his son about his foreign business dealings. In an interview with ABC News in 2019, Hunter Biden defended his private ventures, but acknowledged he didn't anticipate the political impact on his father's career.
I made a mistake in retrospect as it related to creating any perception that was wrong.
Although the criminal probe was led by David Weiss, a U.S. attorney appointed by former President Trump, that hasn't stopped Republican criticism.
If you were the president's leading political opponent, the DOJ tries to literally put you in jail and give you prison time. if you are the president's son, you get a sweetheart deal.
The White House responding with a statement saying the president and first lady love their son and support him as he continues to rebuild his life. The Trump campaign, though, also slamming that tentative agreement as a sweetheart deal. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.